Good morning, beautiful people. Here we are. Let me know if the microphone, everything is good. I've been using the webcam mic, and that's why I've been coming out like I was talking to you from the past. Hopefully, this Intel mic array built into the laptop is a little bit easier. Sometimes the audio will give me trouble when I use my external mic, so we haven't had to restart the stream anytime soon. Hopefully, we're still good. We don't have to restart it today. Let me know down there in the comments if the audio is good and you can hear me, and we can keep it pushing. But welcome. Welcome. We are hot off the back of absolutely backing up the Brinks truck to the market, and really robbing them blind. And I've got to say, like, it is an amazing feeling. That trade on SPY had to be one of the easiest trades to execute in the history of ever. And it was so much fun to do. And I'm glad that so many people were able to leverage that move. It was whether, you made $100 off of it, $150 off of it, 6 grand off of it, 10 grand off of it. It's just there's something magical about the market giving you such clear signals and you being able to be like, wow, received, right? Message received. Let's do it. Let's get it. We're on and popping. It's trades like this where you can make one trade and be done for the month, right? And I think that's what's so great about markets is that patience is rewarded, right? Patience pays. We had to sit and wait through last week. But I think there's a difference between waiting and taking it off, right? And being patient and being lazy. Those are two completely different things. A hunter is patient, right? We are hunters when it comes to the market. Last week, we knew, okay, low volume, right? Not going to have a whole lot of moves with conviction. We knew that and we were fine with that. But the key, right, that was broadcasted since Tuesday, the main key was going to be that Friday close, right? Talking about, okay, cool, Friday close, Friday close, Friday close, Friday close. And I want to walk through this so that everyone understands again the mindset that you have to be in to be a stone cold killer. Everyone thinks, oh, cool, you just hop in and you place this trade, and then you've, 3x your money by tomorrow. No, right? We were hunters. We were locked in here. Like this camera can hopefully get locked in. Can we focus? I'll leave it to you, YouTube. There we go. We were locked in, right? Last week we understood, okay, number one, first win, it's going to be slow, right? It's going to be slow this whole week. That was the biggest win because then we're not out here trading our butts off, right? Trading 5, 10 contracts at a time, and the market's barely moving. So we're there, we're waiting, we're waiting, we're waiting. Cool. Friday is here. Now that Friday has come, what are we looking for? Right? We're looking for some type of balance, buying volume of that aforementioned support area. We got that, right? We got that. We're waiting for it. We got it. The alert goes off. Boom. We push back above that area. At that point, cool. We're in. We're executing. We're on top of it. There are so many points along that train where things could go wrong if you aren't diligent, right? And you're not a hunter. You can know what to expect, you can know what you should be looking forward to and what you should be paying attention to, but if you don't pay attention to it, you miss it, right? If you don't have that alert set so that you know when the buyers come in and the rocket's about to take off, you miss it, right? So making sure that you are there, and that's what I really, really loved was the feedback of people saying, like, hey, this was my first big one, and I had everything set up. I was ready. I didn't miss it. I was on top of it. I knew where I needed to be by close to make sure that I was there to take advantage of the opportunity. And then I did. And what was so nice about the market is that we got everything we needed on Friday, right? I throw in the group, buy the dip. We're ready to go. The rocket's taking off, right? We're going up. This is going to be a hot boy summer, hot girl summer. The best thing is, SPY then gave us 2 more days to get in, right? Really three, because yesterday morning as well, but 2 full days where it was like, all right, we're chilling on top of this area. We retraced it. We put in another hammer, right? We put in another hammer. So we've got a weekly hammer, bullish, a daily hammer, bullish, a second daily hammer, bullish, above average volume on the hammer that we got on Friday, bullish, retracing a bullish breakout, bullish, right? It was literally as somebody who's been trading for a long time, right? This was like the most prime setup for everyone to flourish. And that just made me feel so good because it's so nice after a week of patience, right? For then you have that opportunity for 3 days straight to hop in and get in the rocket ship, and the rocket ship freaking take off and blast to the moon. Right. So this has me pumped up this week, really pumped up for the next month. Number one, because I was positioned for it. Number two, because um, these are just great examples of what the market can do for you and how gracious it can be, right? It can reward you. It rewards your patience. It rewards your diligence. It rewards you setting the alerts, you having a trading journal, you knowing what you're watching, you taking the courage to leap and have faith in yourself and have faith in the analysis. All of that is rewarded, right? And that's what I love about markets so much. But I had to go over just in totality what that process looked like because there are a lot of people who were like, man, Adam's really lucky that he got inspired like the day before. Like, no, we had been in it, right? Had to hold through red at some points. This was trusting the analysis, being diligent and executing, but it gets rewarded, right? And yeah, just it's the small things. It's always the small things. But if you find yourself falling through the cracks with the small things, you'll find yourself falling through the cracks with the big profits, right? That happen. If you're like, man, I missed this, I missed that, I missed this. What small things do you think that you're above that you aren't doing that is causing that to happen? Right? If I mention something 4 or 5 times, what small things do you need to make sure you have in place so that you're executing when the time is right? That's going to be the big takeaway, right? For if you're like, man, this didn't quite work out for me the way that I wanted it to, because there's always, you're not going to hit everything, right? You're not going to make everything. But I think that's the big thing is okay, what small things do I need to change in order to make sure, even if it's just looking myself in the face and saying, I have the courage to execute today. I have the courage to have faith in the analysis. I have the courage to have faith in myself, right? Even if it's just that, that could be the missing point for you daily. But I look myself in the mirror every day, year after year after year, and I speak certain things over myself. Why? So that I know when that time comes and it's time to lay down the hammer, I'm laying down the mother freaking hammer and I'm not hesitating, right? So it might seem, oh, I'm a grown man. I don't need to talk to myself in the mirror. You might, you might, right? If it's time to press that buy button and you're like, you know what? Actually, I got some laundry to do. Actually, I got some, right? It's the little things, the little things. So let's keep doing the little things, resolve to do the little things, get 1% better, and continue crushing it because it was an amazing trade, right? Broadcasted both for the free here and then, of course, in the group multiple different times. We got even more sweeping volume coming in on Monday and Tuesday. It just made it even easier to be able to lock in and do that shorter term, right? Hold those positions shorter term too. But let's resolve to keep crushing it, keep doing well and also remain patient. Do not let FOMO get the best of you. Do not say, oh man, I'm pumped up, Adam. Give me something to throw money at. If we see something, awesome. If we don't, also awesome. Right? Don't let that money burn a hole through your pocket. That happens a lot too. You get money, you say, okay, cool. I doubled my account yesterday, right? Triple my account yesterday. I did this 300%, this 400%, right? And then you come and you're like, I'm ready to go 800% now. Not how it works, right? Wipe the slate clean. You come back. It's a new day. Let that money settle. Any profit that you got yesterday, you should not be putting it into a position today. If you only have 400 bucks and then you turn that 400 bucks into 800 bucks, right? Or 1200 bucks, you should still only be trading with 400 bucks today, right? Probably for the rest of the week because that's exactly how the market gets you. It gives you a little bit. And it says, "Ooh, don't you want some more?" And you go, "Yeah, I want some more." And the next thing you know, you go from 400 bucks to 1200 bucks to 200 bucks. Right? Age old story. And that's not what we want to do here. This community is about making sure that no matter how things change, what's thrown at us, we continue to persist, right? And continue to thrive. And that's what it's about. That's why our, motto is Kaizen, getting 1% better. That's why this exact live stream is brought to you by the Kaizen event that is happening in 2 weeks. I'm betterdaily.com. If you're not already enrolled, enroll there. Now, throw one in the chat if you haven't, right? If you're watching from the future and you're watching the replay, throw one in the chat to signify your intention to get 1% better because you don't get better without intention. We did not absolutely rob the market blind without trying to do it, right? That did not happen. That was days of preparation in advance. You don't do something continuously without intention, right? So that intention is key. So make sure you set the intention because again, I don't need to do that, Adam. I'm not, I just need to know what the trade is. I just need to know what the move is. Well, when you know what the move is, did you do anything about the move? Well, then you probably need to start setting some intention. You probably need to start journaling. Probably need to start meditating, right? Do those little things so that when it's really time to move, you're moving. And you're moving a million miles a minute like our accounts were yesterday, like SPY was yesterday, because it was just. Now, our top news today, big AI, shocker. AI is everywhere, and it will continue to be everywhere. The exclusive $3 trillion market cap club has a new member and a new antitrust investigation. Sounds about right. The fresh probe into NVIDIA, Microsoft, and Microsoft backed OpenAI will explore the dominant roles the companies play in the artificial intelligence industry, according to the New York Times. Both the Department of Justice and the Federal Trade Commission will be involved in the investigation as advances in generative AI threaten to upend the world as we know it, or so they say. Backdrop, the probe follows the meteoric rise of NVIDIA, which is up 150% year to date. NVIDIA is something else that we banked on yesterday, right? Had a beautiful daily bull flag breakout. What was that? Friday, Monday, one of the two. And then just heading straight up into the split. So it was just, I mean, again, stupendous day. If you couldn't tell, I definitely had to double up on the melatonin to go to sleep last night because I was absolutely jazzed up with some more news that I got regarding AI stuff and kind of, what I do on the side, I guess. I don't even know if I consider it the side or now it's just 50-50 as I'm doing more AI work here. But got some great news there. Just a great week all around. But NVIDIA up 150% year to date and 770% since the beginning of 2023 when it broke that weekly downtrend and it gave us the thumbs up to hop in and ride it up to the moon. It's definitely done that. 770%. Crazy. It adds to several other recent regulatory inquiries surrounding artificial intelligence, including consumer protection risks at OpenAI and in depth deal examinations with AI startups. Previously, the DOJ and FTC had been at the forefront of reining in big tech with claims that other Magnificent Seven players like Alphabet, Amazon, Apple, and Meta all violated antitrust monopoly laws. Probably. The issue is that none of these regulatory bodies move fast enough to keep up with any of these big tech companies. Like right now, because of how tight and how important the AI race is, there are tons of violations that are going on across the board, legal and otherwise. Like, is that something that I'm scared about? Maybe, right? Is it something I can change? No, not really, because we're in that spot where it's just everyone is boom, 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 boom. I need to train my model. I needed to have, X, Y, and Z. I need exposure to this. I need exposure to that. And by the time this stuff comes out, we're already so far along and these companies' pockets are so deep that it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't. It's like when Facebook, right? Facebook buying WhatsApp and then they also have Messenger and they have Instagram and all that. And by the time they got around to saying Facebook needs to be broken up, you guys have too many apps. Facebook went and interwove the back end of all of those applications. So it said, actually, we can't. We physically cannot. You would unravel the fabric of society if you were to try to untangle these now. It won't work. Right. And that's the same thing that all these tech companies do. So whenever I hear like, oh, so and so and lawsuit and this, that, and the third, there's going to be lawsuits nonstop against these companies. There's going to be antitrust action nonstop. Will they be able to stop it? No, because the reason why these companies are there is because they're thinking farther and faster ahead than any of these old people in Capitol Hill could even imagine, right? They're still trying to figure out which one is Facebook and which one is Twitter. And by the time they've done that, the names of both have changed. One is X and one is Meta, right? And they still don't know if it's Zuckerberg or Jack Dorsey or Elon Musk who runs any of them. So yeah, that's the weird conundrum of democracy and kind of what we have set up. It takes so long to establish yourself. By the time you're established, you are out of touch, and it's a weird like structural fundamental mismatch that causes like this friction that just permeates throughout society. But hopefully, at some point we find out the best way to govern. But it is tough. Anyways, getting back to kind of big tech and all that here and these probes, as they flex their power and share prices rally, the weightings of the new AI giants are giving them more sway in the market. Microsoft, Nvidia, Alphabet, and Apple now account for nearly a quarter of the S&P 500. That's like so unhealthy, but also like, is it unhealthy? Because we just haven't had a world like this before. We haven't had $3 trillion companies. We haven't had companies that are basically ETFs and represent a basket of stocks. So it's like, is it unhealthy or is it just different, but the new normal? I feel like it's kind of different, but the new normal. These companies are giants. They're countries. They're essentially countries. So it's like, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, it's definitely not good for all that power to be centralized in a certain area, but without it being centralized, you don't get the developments that you currently have. Give and take. It'd be nice to have a like philosophy person on here to kind of throw back and forth, kind of the meta ideas surrounding all this. Um, let's see here, prompting countless investor discussions about concentration. Quote, NVIDIA is making money on AI right now, and companies like Apple and Meta are spending on AI, noted Jack Dollarhide of Longbow Asset Management. There's a lot of retail money that's piling in on what they see as a straight shot up. Yeah, that's always difficult, right? A straight shot up, yeah, I don't know, but I'll ride the bubble until you can't ride it anymore. Like that's where we're at with it. Because all these people who are sitting there like, oh, it's a bubble, cool, it can be. You can ride that bubble all the way up, and as long as you're managing risk and you're not saying, okay, I've got $1,000, I turn that into 3,000 with Nvidia, turn that into nine, turn that into, then eventually you get up to like 100,000. If you put all 100,000 on it and then that bubble pops, well, you're an idiot, right? But if you continue to say, okay, I've got 15K that I could toss around, I'll probably average 3K in each Nvidia trade. Cool. You get burnt. Let's say you get absolutely burnt to a crisp and you lose 100%. You lost $3,000, right? As opposed to all the tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands that you made along the way. So I'll ride the bubble until it pops. I'm completely fine with that. But I'm not going to sit there and see it doing its thing, right? And it be in a spot where you can trade it effectively. It's not like kind of like the meme stocks, right? Meme stocks, it's like different when you see it doing its thing, but it's so, so, so risky to be involved. It's not the same thing, right? Like with this, there's still technicals that are at play. There's not as much manipulation, right? Nowhere near it. I'm fine with riding that bubble up, especially if the technicals match up. Doesn't always mean NVIDIA is the easiest to trade, but it's worth it. For sure worth it, as the past 2 days have shown us in the past, I don't know, 10 months, 11 months as well. Central banking news, rate cuts begin. This is another bullish thing. There were so many bullish factors going into the end of next week, which just made it so easy and the ability to have so much confidence in executing what was going on. The freaking European Central Bank is about to start cutting rates too. So what does that mean? Overseas markets, same thing, right? Imagine if we announce a rate cut here. If we announce a rate cut here, you'd literally be looking over at the market and a big green candle would come and knock your cap off, right? And we've got that happening also overseas, with them, expecting to start cutting rates. So that's only more bullish information. Fundamentals, we have bullish fundamentals and bullish technicals on our side. And they look to continue to push us higher overall over the course of the summer, right? Because I talked about what happened with TLT, right? TLT breaking a long-standing 7-month downtrend this week. That's treasury bonds, right? That's a positive sign too. Somebody thinks at some point rates are getting cut. Somebody thinks that. And I know we already have one cut priced in, but it just might come sooner rather than later. But you're starting to see the dollar losing a long-standing uptrend, DXY. The dollar is inverse to markets, right? The dollar going up, going up, going up. You want the dollar to be worth less so that people take their dollars and they put them into the market, right? Because it's better for you to be holding stock than holding cash. When you see the dollar breaking down, TLT breaking up, stock market breaking up, interest rates getting cut, that's Bull City. That's the running of the Bulls. The ECB is expected to trim its deposit rate by 25 basis points to 3.75% at its meeting today as inflation eases to slightly above the 2% target. And this is the day after Canada cut its benchmark interest rate for the first time in 4 years. We got Canada cutting, the Eurozone cutting. Are we next? We'll have to wait and see. The cut would be the first since September 2019, though the outlook for further easing remains cloudy. It would also mark a significant divergence from the Federal Reserve, which isn't yet confident about rate cuts given sticky inflation. Now, space news, blast off. It's finally happened. Boeing's CST 100 Starliner lifted off Wednesday morning on its first crewed mission. Talk about rolling the dice. You will not catch me in a freaking Boeing spaceship. Carrying astronauts Barry Wilmore and Sunita Williams to the International Space Station. The launch was a final test before certifying the spacecraft for regular manned trips to the ISS. To note, Boeing's program is 7 years behind schedule compared to the success of SpaceX, which has recorded 9 crewed launches since 2020. Both vendors were hired under similar NASA contracts in 2014. So rare Boeing W, very rare Boeing W, but congrats to them all the same. Blast off. I'm glad that everyone there is safe. Barry Wilmore, Sunita Williams are safe. And hopefully this leads to consistent, safe space travel in Boeing vehicles. In terms of equities, Lone Star stocks, Texas is seeking to steal some of New York's financial thunder with TXE Group, TXSE, that's what it is, TXSE Group, planning to launch the Texas Stock Exchange. The company completed its initial capital raise with the participation of more than 2 dozen investors, including BlackRock, ticker BLK, and Citadel Securities. Citadel, I believe, was it Citadel or Citron that was involved in the GameStop saga way back then? I feel like it was Citadel. Citadel. Don't know though. Somebody double check that if you can, if you feel like it. The fully electronic National Securities Exchange aims to provide more stability and predictability around listing standards and associated costs compared to NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange, which have been criticized for adding more rules and increasing compliance costs. What does this mean for us? Really not much. In terms of today's markets, in Asia, Japan up 0.6%, Hong Kong up 0.3, China down 0.5, India up 0.9. In London, we're up 0.4, Paris up 0.5, Frankfurt up 0.8, the Dow down 0.1, S&P flat, NASDAQ up 0.1, crude up 0.5%, gold up 0.2, Bitcoin up 0.4, above 71K, and taking off. Who would have thunk it? We did, right? We did. Bitcoin pushing right off of that area that was predicted and pushing higher here. Let's keep it trucking. Continue the pay train. Today's economic calendar. Initial jobless claims at 8:30 a.m. Not super important. Let me also double check if anything important. Nope, just jobless claims. That was the only thing. Checking the economic calendar too. Now where were we? There's so many windows open. Okay. What else is happening? Rapid fire stock news rundown here. Alphabet taps Eli Lilly executive as new CFO. CrowdStrike results stand out from cybersecurity pack. Bird flu death is linked to strain previously not seen in humans. You never like to read that. NBA TV rights deals said to be worth $76 billion over 11 years. Contract talks, Amazon labor union joins forces with Teamsters. Lululemon, ticker Lulu, delivers strong earnings, hikes guidance. A welcome change of pace for Lulu, or I guess maybe a return to the norm. They typically crush it. They started getting crushed, and now they're working their way back. So congrats to them. U.S. curbs China solar firms stop Southeast Asia production, and then Zoox, owned by Amazon, expands robo-taxi testing to Austin and Miami. And then AMC jumps as shareholders reject executive comp plan. MSIM lists stocks with largest market cap from 1950s to today. Now did that AMC, I mean, I guess that happened yesterday. I guess that's what they considered the jump because we're sitting at exactly really where we closed yesterday. Not much of a jump at all, right? Not much of a jump, especially by those standards. But hey, I guess you could consider it a slow news day. Anyways, that'll wrap us up. Put a bow on it. Take us out. It's been a freaking stocktastic week thus far. Let's see if we can continue, right? Keep it up. There are a few interesting looks that are happening here this week. A lot of interesting weekly candles that are happening, weekly downtrend breaks that are taking place. I'm excited to dive into those and see if we can get in where we fit in and continue to put our money to work for us. If you're not, make sure you're signed up. I'm betterdaily.com for the Kaizen event, stocks, AI, learn how to make sure you cemented your spot in this world that is rapidly changing because it is changing each and every day. And you could be one of the people that helps change it, right? And also get the paycheck that comes along with it. That's what I'm aiming for. Because right now you've got people in very high places who are just simply shocked and awed by this stuff. They have nobody that's bringing it to them, and you could be that person. That's what I'm looking to be. And apparently I am becoming that for the salon industry and also for the what is it? Uh, the dispensary industry. Two things that I've not much involved myself in the past, but now, hey, if the check clears, I'm there. Anyways, make sure you're there June 19th through the 21st. You guys have a great rest of the day. I'll see you back here tomorrow for our last pre-market prep session of the week. Have a good one.